Hello and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Now, in this video, I will be reacting to the Never Ever Met Season 1, Episode 7, which is titled The Newly Met Game. But the title of my video is Men Don't Cheat, They Explore Options. Wait, what? But we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, let's get into the episode. So, this episode picked up from the last episode where Greg and Millie were sitting down with the therapist, and it left off with Greg sharing that he had been molested. And in the last episode, before Greg actually said what his past traumas were, Millie was kind of huffing and puffing. I guess he was like taking her moment. Like she wanted to have the spotlight with what was going on with her and her past traumas. But I love the way that the therapist handled such a sensitive subject with Greg. She told Greg that she was honored that he would share that with them in this space. And I also applaud Greg for being bold enough to share. We need to bring more awareness to the fact that boys and men are also SA as well. So after Greg shared his experience, Millie's attitude did change. And she said that she was happy that Greg did open up about his past traumas. And personally, I truly hope that Millie can soften up a bit. Not saying that she has to, ignore the fact that she does have these past traumas, but if she could just, soften up a little bit to know that, other people have issues as well. And sometimes when you bring too much baggage to a relationship, that could be a problem, but you just have to find somebody who's willing to unpack your baggage and willing to stand beside you with whatever you have going on. It seems like that Millie, you know, has all of a sudden started having these outbursts. And it's like she kind of picked up where not Alexis, I'm sorry. Um, what was her name? The one that got kicked off. She picked up where the castmate that got kicked off because she was pretty much a drama queen. And so now she's the one with all of the drama. So Millie tells the guys that she's having a surprise birthday party for Greg. And most of the guys just kind of made jokes and said, well, make sure you don't tell the women because they can't hold water. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So in the next scene, Taronda gathers everybody together and she lets them know that they're going to play a game called On the Same Page to see how in sync the couples actually are. And during the game, it was really interesting because the people who you thought would be on the same page outside of Josh and Shay, because obviously they've been dating for 12 years, so they know each other very well. But the people who everybody expected to not do well with the game actually did pretty good. So Josh and Shay, they took the lead and they are definitely on the same page. And surprisingly, so is Jody and Aaron J, ironically, because they would be the ones that people would think would not be on the same page. But with this game, they actually were on the same page and they answered pretty much all of the questions correctly. Now, when it comes to Chris and Sandia and Millie and Greg, not so much. Greg didn't even know Millie's birthday. So it's clear that they are not on the same page. I mean, because of all things, you expect your man to know your birthday. Okay. And as you can imagine, Millie was feeling some kind of way because Greg didn't know her birthday, especially since she's planning a surprise birthday party for him. So she really was in her feelings and felt some kind of way about that. Now, is it just me or was it weird when Aaron J tried to talk to Jody through the bathroom door and when he heard the toilet flush, he said, "Ew." That was kind of weird for me. For me, it was it kind of called his sexual preference into question. Even the body language was giving feminine. And this wouldn't even be an issue if he was dating a man, but he is pursuing a woman. But his facial expressions, his body language, I mean, he pretty much ran from the bathroom. And I did think that was kind of weird, but hey, maybe, he's still getting to know her, and maybe those are still some, you know, situations where he's not that comfortable with. And Jody seemed so he was coming to the bathroom to tell Jody that he had planned a photo shoot for them that was going to happen later on that day. And Jody did seem very excited about the photo shoot, but when they were leaving the house, but as soon as they got into the car, they went right back to being awkward. I mean, the ride to the photo shoot, there was no conversation, no hand holding, no affection whatsoever. Okay. So, and let me just point out Jody's hair for her to be going to do a photo shoot, it was really a hot mess. And, it looked like she did the bare minimum when it comes to preparing for this photo shoot. But that's neither here nor there because for the most part, since Jody has been on this show for whatever reason, she does not like to comb her hair, knowing that she's going to be on national TV. But hey, you know, and just to be clear, it's not just Jody, a lot of the ladies aren't really paying a lot of attention to their hair, you know, um, it just seems like they're just hanging out, with people they've known forever. They're not really putting a lot of effort into their appearance. So we're still at the photo shoot, but the next scene flashed to where Chris's homeboy and Sandia's best friend showed up shortly thereafter. Okay. And we'll get back to the photo shoot a little bit later. So they showed up, they met each other. Chris went off to the pool room to chat it up, with his good friend Benz or whatever the case may be. And Jody kind of took her friend and they had their own little private conversations. And then it went back to the photo shoot. Now, let me just say, even though Jody's hair, you know, wasn't together, I will say that the photo shoot pictures really turned out really nice and would have been an overall great experience if Aaron had not leaned in to kiss Jody during the photo shoot because Jody wasn't ready for that. It was such an awkward moment. So Aaron J thought that he hit the mark, when he leaned in to kiss Jody. And, she did kiss him back, and played it off or whatever the case may be. But Jody said after the fact that she didn't feel anything, but she chose not to share that with Aaron J. So he's thinking, okay, we just had a great photo shoot. We had a great time. I finally got a kiss. So he's thinking that they're moving forward. So as soon as Aaron J and Jody got back to the house, Jody turned her stank attitude right back on. So, so much that her ride or die, Chris, noticed and he told Aaron that he didn't like the way she was treating him. Like, say it ain't so. Like, Chris and Jody, like, they're really close. Like, um, Chris has said on many occasions that Jody is actually his favorite person in the house outside of his girlfriend. he had said that, Jody's really cool, but Jody was acting so stank that he had to call her out. So let's back up a little bit to Chris's homeboy, Ben. So Chris's homeboy turned out to be a rude a-hole, but good thing that Sandia's best friend had her back, because this part of the episode was really, it really pissed me off, because that's when he said that guys don't cheat, they just explore other options. And what I don't like about that is that this show is spinning the same narrative that they do on all of the own shows, which is they make it seem like it's okay to cheat. So they want everybody to be on the same page, thinking that it's okay to cheat and that you should let your man cheat in peace. So basically, that was the message that Chris's friend brought to the table. And he was also saying that they should have already had sex by now. Like that's the most important thing in a relationship. And if they do go there, and if Chris is not happy with that, then, he's going to end the relationship. My whole thing is, like, I hope she does not ignore these red flags, because the same person that Chris's friend was displaying, that was the same person that Chris was the very first day he got to the house. All he talked about was smashing women and how he, get women or whatever the case may be. So it's looking like this is just the way that they are. So if she chooses to ignore the red flags, it's going to be a situation like what I've already predicted, where, her and Chris are going to enter into a relationship and everything. And as soon as she gets comfortable, Chris is going to cheat. As soon as he get bored or whatever the case may be, he's going to cheat. And I just feel like at some point she's going to be okay with him cheating, and she's going to become another Tisha from Love and Marriage Huntsville, and she's going to allow her man to cheat in peace. Because if you're ignoring all of the red flags now, then what that says to me is you're going to be okay with your man cheating on you. And you're just going to, you know, pretend not to see it, sort of like Tisha does. Or, you might bring it up and throw it in his face, but ultimately you're not going to leave the relationship. And that's just how I feel about their situation. Now, that was a lot when it came to Chris, Sandia, and her friend, but they left on a good note, because I think Chris kind of realized that his friend was doing a little too much. So he tried to reel him back in, but ultimately he was happy about the fact that, Sandia's friend seemed to like him and everything, and he got her approval. So he was pretty happy about that. So the next scene, Diamond decides once again to stick her nose where it doesn't belong. She told Shay that she has been keeping in touch with Alexis, and she told her that Josh was trying to have sex with Alexis while Shay was there asleep in the bed. Now, I'm starting to feel like Diamond and Aaron H, her man, they just always seem to stick their nose where it doesn't belong. Now, I understand maybe she just wanted her friend to know, like she said, so that she can investigate the situation. But I feel like that the only reason why Alexis put that out there is because she's no longer on the show. Her and her dude, Dominique, they got kicked off the first day for DV. So she's no longer on the show. So I feel like she's a little jealous of the remaining couples that are on the show because she's sitting at home. So all of a sudden, she want to relay that to Diamond for her to tell Shay that, her man Josh tried to sleep with her. So I'm still kind of looking at Alexis sideways, and I'm not really sure if I believe that because keep in mind that would have happened on the very first day. And I really don't see Josh, trying to push up, on this man girlfriend like the very first day, not knowing how he would react if he actually found out. Now, the other side of that is I think Josh kind of felt sorry for Alexis because she was alone because they had already asked her dude, Dominique, to leave and go stay at a hotel. So she was obviously lonely in her feelings or whatever. Shay was sleepy, going to sleep. So I guess he was just trying to comfort her in her time of need. That's the only way I can look at that, but I still don't think the man tried to sleep with her. I just don't believe it. So they're just going to have to figure that out or whatever the case may be. But as for me, I don't believe it. So Shay confronts Josh in the boom boom room, which is where they spend most of their nights because none of the other couples are sexually active yet. So Josh and Shay usually take, advantage of the boom boom room pretty much every night. So the conversation quickly turns into a heated discussion with Shay becoming extremely emotional. And wouldn't you know it, the bearer of the bad news, Diamond, showed back up to kind of de escalate the situation. I think that she popped up because she knew that they were going to be into a heated discussion after she broke that news to Shay. So she just popped up to kind of de escalate the situation or whatever the case may be. And she also told Shay, look, we don't know if this is true. I only told you this because I wanted you to investigate the situation. And again, honestly, I'm leaning toward believing that, Alexis just made it up just because she's a little jealous that she's no longer in the house. And what are you guys' thought? Do you think that Josh came on to Alexis and tried to smash while Shay was asleep in the bed? They even went out to the hallway because supposedly there's no cameras in the hallway. So they even went out to the hallway because Josh said that Alexis was getting a little bit loud, so he didn't want to wake Shay up. So they continued the conversation out in the hallway. So, what do you guys think? If you're watching the replay, make sure you drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about Josh trying to sleep with Alexis before she left the show. So, pretty much the show kind of ended with not Alexis, I'm sorry, Josh and Shay still being in, a heated argument or whatever the case may be. So I'm pretty sure they'll get past it, but the initial shock of Shay finding out that her man could have potentially tried to push up on somebody else in the house. Like at this point, she's very angry and she's very upset, saying that she wants to go home to her mom. But I think once reality sets in and she realizes that, you know, Alexis could have possibly made the whole thing up just because she's jealous that she's no longer in the house. So we'll just have to wait and see how all of that plays out. So folks, that is going to be all for this video. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and bye for now.